We all have this incredible power called imagination. Einstein once said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." What is life without imagination? Imagination shapes and changes our world with each second. Nature can inspire our imaginations. This is how we perfected the airplane. Noticing the aerodynamics of geese flying south for the winter, the brilliant inventor Howard Hughes decided to streamline the airplane so that we could fly south for the winter as well. Albert Einstein created modern science with his theory of relativity, or E equals mc squared. He said the idea came to him while he was daydreaming. Imagination isn't something that kids do. Everyone who has changed the world changed the way others perceive the world through the use of imagination. Did you know everything around you began in the same way? It was a thought. Ideas come when you think outside of the box. And today, we're gonna go to space.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
2, 1, 0, all engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Okay, engine stop. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
That's one small step for man. One giant leap for mankind.
Astronauts descended the 9-rung ladder of the lunar module called Eagle and allowed their feet to touch the dusty surface of the Earth's only moon.
The original Apollo astronauts were like pioneers in a new land. Everything was unusual, difficult, or unexplored entirely.
It was our pleasure to have participated in one great adventure. It's an adventure that took place not just in the month of July, but rather one that took place in the last decade.
So many people have done so much to give us this opportunity to place this American flag on the surface. To me, it was one of the prouder moments of my life to be able to stand there and quickly salute the flag.
And I think long term, we find for the first time that man has the flexibility or the option of either walking this planet or some other planet, be it the moon or Mars or I don't know where.
Hey, did you know that the computer in your smartphone is more powerful than all of the technology that NASA used to put the first astronauts on the moon? Simple everyday tasks like eating, drinking, and shaving required their imagination. Our imagination grew infinitely when we saw our fellow human beings touching down on the moon's surface. All seemed possible, and it was, and it still continues to be.
The rest of the activity seemed to go very rushed. There were a lot of things to do, and we had a hard time getting them finished.
I think that we were timely in accepting this mission of going to the moon. It might be timely at this point to think in many other areas of other missions that could be accomplished.
I just see it as a beginning. Not just this flight, but in this program, which has really been a very short piece of human history. An instant in history.
I know where you're going. I've been in space 2 times. I've walked on the moon. Before we can let you go into space, you've got to pass a battery of tests. Are you ready? Anti-gravity test. Fitness test. Centrifuge test. Crash landing test. Rocket test. Congratulations, you're cleared for launch. Just remember one thing. I'm the real Buzz. Piece of cake.
Imagination makes dreams come true. You may see a simple piece of paper. Some see a paper airplane. But someone with imagination sees something much more grand. The Dogon tribe of West Africa created maps and paintings of the stars long before the invention of telescopes. Some of their maps included stars that we have only recently discovered, like Sirius B. How did they do this? Imagination and truth are often one and the same. Albert Einstein said that all of our thoughts are matter itself. Mystery creates wonder, and wonder is the basis of man's desire to understand. Neil Armstrong.
In the years that have followed, the space race inspired a generation of scientists and innovators, including, I'm sure, many of you. It's contributed to immeasurable technological advances that have improved our health and well-being, from satellite navigation to water purification, from aerospace manufacturing to medical imaging. There's a lot more of space to explore and a lot more to learn when we do. And leading the world to space helped America achieve new heights of prosperity here on Earth, while demonstrating the power of a free and open society to harness the ingenuity of its people. It wasn't just the greatest achievement in NASA's history, it was one of the greatest achievements in human history. And the question for us now is whether that was the beginning of something or the end of something. I choose to believe it was only the beginning.
Based on your own experience in space, do you or any of you feel that there will ever be an opportunity for a woman to become an astronaut in our space program?
Now let's look at how imagination can literally change the way the world views everything, from going to space to equal rights for all people. These women all became astronauts within 8 years of that reporter asking a very simple question. Now there are more than 500 women employed by NASA, and the number is growing daily with each passing generation. Everything begins just like this, from nothing to something. We must unlock our imagination, and when we do, we unlock possibilities. For thousands upon thousands of years, we have stared at the stars, so much so that we found by connecting the dots, we could draw images in our mind, also known as constellations. This helped our ancient ancestors to navigate the Earth safely. They even created stories surrounding the stars, the moon, and the sun. And we still tell these stories today. What was once dreamt about is now a very real picture of the beauty that exists from outside of our atmosphere. Since the development of the space program back in the 1960s, we now have launched multiple missions of exploration into the far reaches of space. The Hubble telescope has captured breathtaking images of our planets, the stars, and even other galaxies and universes far beyond our own. Today, the International Space Station, or the ISS, sends the best astronauts, scientists, biologists, engineers into space for an entire year. They even have social media on board the space station. The space station travels around the entire Earth every 90 minutes. The astronauts get to see 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets every day. The space station houses 6 crew members for 365 days, and that's a total of 52,560 crew hours. What innovative technology was created just by going to space? Laser-guided metal milling. Laser technology rapidly developed after creating our space program. New ideas like lasers made backbreaking work much easier for machinists and engineers all over the world. 3D printers came along, which use plastics instead of metal to create precision parts that are used in many of the industries from medical to aviation. Solar panels were created to gather the infinite energy from our sun and bring the electrical and water filtration systems to farmers during periods of drought. These same panels help guide and power the International Space Station for long missions. So you may be wondering why these astronauts decided to spend a year of their life on a space station away from family and friends, pets, or even their favorite restaurants. All of them have one thing in common. Do you want to know what it is? It's imagination. When they were kids, they wanted to explore unknown places. They imagined how cool it would be to be like Spock from Star Trek.
And action.
Being on Star Trek was really cool because the first thing is you don't really understand that the sets are very substantial. I got to hang out with Worf, I got to meet Riker and all these kinds of things. It was a very cool experience because in many ways it was coming full circle. As a little girl, I watched Star Trek. I knew that looking at Nichelle Nichols as Lieutenant Uhura, someone was connecting my idea of space, and now I got to come back around and help to verify that, yes, this happens.
You know, I'm a new astronaut with the Canadian Space Agency. I haven't flown in space yet, but I'm excited to. I've been training and getting ready to go, and someday I'm going to have my chance to climb aboard a rocket and fly into space. You know, and I'm very passionate about that. And I just wanted to share a little bit of that passion with you today, something that inspires me. Imagine with me for a second, we take a drinking straw and we search through the sky on a really dark place, probably not from downtown Toronto, but outside the city where we see lots of stars. We find a chunk of the sky where it's completely black. That's where we pointed the Hubble Space Telescope, and this is what we found. Over 10,000 galaxies in that tiny soda straw chunk of the sky. Imagine, there are more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on our planet. 1968, 3 astronauts were tasked to fly out to the moon, and as they come around the far side of the moon on the 3rd time, they see the Earth. And they're awestruck. What exploration does for us, it gives us a new perspective of where we are. We went all that way to discover the moon, but what we really discovered was Earth. We discovered ourselves. This is life on board the space station. This is Chris and his crew, 2 US astronauts, 3 Russian cosmonauts. There's a dinner table on the wall right here. All the food's Velcroed down or held down with straps. But what this slide reminds me of is the international cooperation that is required to make something like the International Space Station a success. And if anyone ever tells you we can't cooperate, well then here is a shining example in the night sky of international cooperation and what we can do when we work together. Because this is one of the most incredible achievements mankind has, the International Space Station. Astronauts come back from space with a changed perspective of our planet. You know, when they look at our planet, it becomes obvious to them that we are one species in this together. This is a team sport. And it's what I love about space is we set these big goals. And you know, we attract these amazing people to come together as a team and work together. And if we didn't have a big goal, they would all do amazing things on their own. It's true. But when we set a big goal, we bring this amazing team together and they accomplish way more than they could have on their own. And that's why in your life, I encourage you to set goals. You don't have to get to the goal. You don't know for sure that you're going to get to the goal, but set the goal and start on the journey.
Earth.
Earth.
Earth. Mars. Earth.
Mars. Earth. Mars.
When I was on my submarine, I always missed fruit, so I'm hoping there's freeze-dried tomatoes.
So I'm not familiar with the space menu yet, but I'm gonna go with steak.
The ISS espresso.
Curious if there's pizza.
Pierogies.
Espresso.
I think it'll be an absolute blast.
I think I could get used to it.
I think I'll be sick as a dog.
I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I'll puke, but get used to it.
I'm not sure, but it looks like a lot of fun, so I can't wait.
I'd probably be a little nervous and incredibly excited.
Excited and maybe a little bit nervous.
Pretty excited. Need lots of bathroom breaks.
I just have to pack enough stuff to take with me.
I mean, isn't that why we signed up? I'm stoked about it.
Sign me up.
I live in Boston, so I'm used to small spaces.
Good self-hygiene.
When I sleep, I cuddle up so I don't take up that much room. I think is probably, and I'm pretty easygoing.
I am understanding.
I think I'm a lot like a kindergartner when I generally get along well with others.
I pack light.
Pictures of friends and family.
A picture of my family.
Ooh, a lot of music. Some plants and a lot of art supplies.
Skis.
Matt Damon and extra ketchup.
Surround yourself with people that lift you up towards that goal. Be that person for the other people around you who lifts them up to achieve their goals. And why is that important? Because this I absolutely believe. You each have great value to contribute to our society. You really do. And you have to set goals and start marching towards it. And ultimately, you have to decide, like I said earlier, whether you're going to believe in yourself or not. It's important to me to be here today to speak to you because I believe in you. And now you have to decide. Do you you believe in you. You guys have been great. Thank you.
Hey, and remember to look up, dream big, and use your creative superpowers. And by that, I mean your imagination. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more great programming here on CLZTV, Channel 39.